It's time for another edition of Pimp My Strategy. In today's video, we'll be going over a 4-hour Bitcoin long-only strategy using some pretty simplistic tools, but I think this is like a really, really good example, as you'll see later, of a super simple strategy being extremely effective. And whenever I see something like this, I just want to get out of the way and make very, 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 very small changes. I'm not here to completely, redo the strategy or anything like that. I'm here to improve the strategy as it is, working with the same tools. So this one's from Vlad the Impaler in the Discord. And by the way, if you do want to contribute your own strategy for some pimping action, then if you want to pimp out your own strategy, you can find your way to the Discord link in the description below, and then go over here to the Test Your Strategy forum post on Discord. Anyways, this one, I'll read out the criteria first, or actually, you know what? Let's show the results first, and then I'll read out the criteria. I think that's what gets people interested most anyways. And as you can see, we have this lovely, lovely, lovely stair step to heaven as it goes up and to the right for eternity and always. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So like I said, when I see something like this, I just want to get out of the way, not make any major changes, because I mean, that's really just not the purpose of this playlist to begin with, but just make, very, very superficial changes to eke out a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit more effective. In my opinion, if I can get this one even 10% better, I look at that as a win. So, just looking at the equity curve here, beautiful. So we're going to be working with this. Maybe I can smooth that out a little bit. In fact, I do believe that we will smooth it out a little bit, but ultimately we don't want to fuck around with something that is quote unquote good. By the way, if you're wondering what this service is that we are using here to get these back tests, and which you can also use to automate as well, it is the Quant Prime service. You can find it in the link in the description below for Teachable. You can also try it out for 7 days free, as well as with most of our tools. Anyways, let's read through the criteria here. Entry criteria: he is looking to enter on an uptrend, which is effectively the 21 versus 55 EMA cross, being in the upside direction, so 21 above the 55 for the 4-hour time frame. And then he wants to see that the 55 EMA is also above the 200 EMA, so that condition must be present simultaneously. And then price must have closed above the 85 EMA. I don't know how he figured this one out, but yeah, a lot of things in there. And then pyramiding 6 orders, so he's going to pyramid into something like this. Fair enough. Exit criteria: just whenever price closed below the 200 EMA, although you'll notice when we go through things, that's actually not how most of these trades exit. And then he's only trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of the week, leaving off Friday and Sunday. As for risk management, and this is probably what's going to close most of these trades, is going to be the ATR risk stop feature on the skeleton key from the Quant Prime service, plus use close, length 11, period 3. And then he has a really interesting max SL and max TP here. Max SL, max stop loss is 3.5%. The maximum take profit, however, is 55%. So yeah. Again, when I see this, I like the first thing that I'm thinking is, okay, let's just not fuck it up. How about that? He's shown a back test here for almost the past 10 years, and all of these metrics are very, 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 very fine. So let's go into the changes that I made. We already have it on the board. I'll show you the results first, and I'll tell you what I did. But as far as the results, we were actually able to increase the total P&L by 20%. The total trades came down a little bit, so this one became more efficient, meaning that the profit factor did go up and the profitable trade rate went up, a very small amount. But yes, in my opinion, efficiency of a strategy is something to be cherished. That is a good thing. So now you can see that the equity curve is doing a lot more step ups, and when it does go through these sort of sideways periods, it is maybe losing a little bit less, if that. There's not a humongous improvement there. It's mostly just kind of, squeezing this rock to get a little bit more juice out of it. So I'll go through the changes that I made now. Like I said, keeping this one super, super simple. I actually got rid of his enter on uptrend condition here. What I did instead is I actually replaced it with a high term time frame filter, and that is going to be down here. And that is going to be applied to the 6-hour time frame rather than the 4-hour time frame. Again, minimal improvements, but that just seemed to make things better, so I'm running with that. And yes, I did try just about everything on that one. I really wanted to make a video around this one, so I really went like deep into the different time frames. Anyways, from there, He also was negating both Friday and Saturday for trading. I found that actually including Friday with these settings is going to be a net benefit. So I'll just show you really quickly. If I tick off Friday, you'll see it load, and then you'll see probably a slightly worse result. Yeah, we actually lose a decent amount, about 5-6% of that total PNL down below 349 now. So I'm gonna add that back on, and we'll keep it as is. I mean, maybe we play around with another day, but I really don't want to fuck around with that too much. Maybe a lot of the times Thursday is an issue, but I guess we'll find out if we try it here. And I mean, it does reduce results a little bit, but really no change. So we're going to keep it as such. Maybe Sunday. Actually, I didn't play around with too many of these days because, again, I like things as they are. You know, we're just going to keep it as it is. All right, there we go. Maybe we even add Saturday now too. Let's just see if it actually makes things significantly different. But from my memory, it does. So yeah, that's why we kept it off. All right, so we got that. Again, just 2 changes thus far. Then we're going to go over here to the maximum stop loss. And I noticed that his maximum stop loss was honestly pretty tight for a 4-hour time frame. He had it at 3.5%. I just moved it up to 4% here. Again, I like round even integers. I don't like, 3.815. It's just too specific. You run the risk of over optimization, in that environment. Again, you could go even wider than this to a 5%, of course, but at that point, it is getting a little bit further away. I think 4% is still pretty damn close and still pretty damn good. And also 5 does reduce the results as well. So we'll keep it as such. Maximum take profit, I'm just going to keep it at 55. I understand what he's doing here. There were a few trades that were humongous, massive, just mega fucking winners because this strategy will get those. And so it's just taking profit when they get like to really, really, really extreme levels. If we took that off, the results are not going to be actually that different. So we'll keep it on, but just to show you what it has done. Actually, the results kind of are different here, but we do lose actually much more trades than what I expected. So a lot of trades actually are getting closed on that, which is interesting. Or I guess maybe not so interesting. It is, it is after all, I guess it does happen, Anyways, on a 4-hour time for me, you wouldn't necessarily expect 55% moves in your favor often. But again, this is kind of a more long-term trending strategy. Anyways, the next changes that I made were in the ATR section. So he's using an ATR risk for a stop. So we're going to have that. We're going to leave that enabled. We're going to use the close on this one as well. For the length, I kept it at 11. That seemed fine, but the period actually moved to 3.5. Again, just playing around with round integers here, and that seemed to have a nice improvement, as well as changing the smoothing type from a RMA to an SMA. And in general, I actually don't like using RMA. It's kind of like, it's a little bit too insensitive. It sounds weird to talk about a moving average like that, but it's too insensitive, to current price. SMA had the best results, so I figured that would be good to go with as well. So not only did it have better results, but I just like the SMA better than an RMA when given the choice. So that's what I went with, and that's actually it. I'm just referencing my notes right now, and yeah, we did get everything. Everything else, again, I wanted to keep the same. I'm not here to massively change around these strategies, but when I get the profit factor up to almost 3.3, and over here it was 3.09. That I'm very, very happy with. Profitable trade rate going up a little bit. Happy with that, of course. It's not a humongous improvement. So you are losing a lot of trades on this strategy. You're losing more often than not. But when you get a winner, I mean, they are big winners. So if I could give some maybe points of potential improvement for the future. Now, this would require obviously massively changing around this strategy, but in case you happen to give a fuck, who was this again? This was Vlad the Impaler. In case you happen to give a fuck, one of the things that I do notice is that your profit taking for this strategy is a little bit too relaxed. Like you get a lot of these great trades that are going in your favor, but you end up not capitalizing on, I think, what in what I think that you really should be, to be honest. But it's not bad. Again, it's not like, this is not bad. This is a very, very good strategy. Like, this is good. This is fine. Like, don't take that as as like you need to fucking rework this. No. This one's fine as it is. Assuming that you like these results. But yeah, a lot of these ones, they'll be, almost every position is in profit relatively soon, but a lot of the time they won't capitalize when it's very much in profit. Now, of course, what you could do is you could move that maximum take profit by percentage from 55 down to like maybe 10%. Maybe that's a good area to try. Maybe even a little bit less, like 8%. But of course, your overall P&L will reduce actually. But I think that would give it a little bit more future proofing. Because this one's like the big home run hitter, it seems like. So yeah, anyways, I like where this one's at. So we're going to leave it right there. Again, if you're looking for this tool that we're using to do all these back tests, to do all these forward tests, to also, of course, customize things in whatever manner you want and even automate it, you can check out the Quant Prime service in the link in the description below for Teachable. It is, again, 7 days free for any new user. And yeah, we'll end things on that note. As always, take care, much love, and see you in the next edition of Pimp My Strategy.